Hi everyone, my name is Rabia Ahmad and I am in Dr. Schott's 2211 class. One of the public lectures I attended this semester was called Distant Horizons, New Worlds in an Age of Discovery. This lecture was given by Dr. Shane Larson. So first off, a quick introduction of what Dr. Larson discussed. An important part of today's world that has allowed for many advancements is technology, like rocket ships, telescopes, spacecrafts, and more, have enabled us to learn about the world around us more than ever before. So there's a space probe called New Horizons that's actually expected to sail past Pluto on July 14th, 2015, next year, and into the world beyond. And it does have a camera, so we'll get to see all that stuff, which we haven't before. So this introduced the discussion of why the world around us is important, how planets are defined, and why we should care about them. So here you can see an artist's depiction of the New Horizons spacecraft during its planned encounter with Pluto and its moon. So we're discovering new planets, comets, asteroids, you name it, every single day. It's important to stay organized, right? As you may know, a few years ago, the dwarf planet Pluto was demoted from a planet to a dwarf planet. But we might wonder why that happened. What was it about Pluto that caused the International Astronomical Union, or the IAU, to strip it of its title? So they came up with this definition. In order to be a planet, it has to orbit the sun, gravity must make it round, and it must have cleared its orbit. It's the last two requirements that were a little iffy with regards to Pluto. Neil deGrasse Tyson said it very well. He said, Pluto is mostly ice. If you slid Pluto to where Earth is right now, heat from the sun would evaporate that ice and it would grow a tail. Now that's no kind of behavior for a planet. And he's right, it's not. But the last requirement is a little iffy as well. If Jupiter were where Pluto is right now, it wouldn't have had time to clear its orbit, and it would fail its definition. But it should be a planet because it's huge. It's the biggest planet, right? But it wouldn't pass this definition. So things like that made the decision to demote Pluto controversial. But why should we care? As Dr. Larson put it, it's essentially that we want to know if we're unique, if there's any other planet like Earth out there. There's a planet that was actually discovered recently in another solar system called Kepler 186f. It's the first time we've seen a planet that's similar in size to Earth and at a distance from its own star that it may be habitable. I think that's really exciting stuff personally, because I think everyone wonders if there's life out there in another solar system, if there's humans, Star Trek and all that. So something interesting that I learned from this lecture was about planets getting kicked out of their solar systems. I'd never heard of this before. Basically, what can happen is that you have planets going about their orbits around their stars within their own solar systems, and sometimes the gravitational interaction between each of the planets can get so strong that you get a collision between the planets, and one of the planets can actually be ejected from the solar system, setting that planet free from the gravitational pull of their host star. So this leads to a free-floating planet in the solar system, which I suppose it'll wander around until it crashes into another solar system. They actually found one of these planets last year, a planet called PSO and some numbers. It was 6 times the size of Jupiter, which is really interesting because if a planet that big was ejected, then there must have been bigger planets than it in the system. So that got me really interested into the idea of rogue planets, which are basically planets that orbit the galaxy directly. These planets have never been bound to any star at all, or they've been ejected from a solar system, like the planet I just mentioned. So if they're not bound to a star, how can we find them? How do we know where to look? That's what I was wondering. So I did some research and I discovered that one of the best methods to locate one of these rogue planets is called gravitational microlensing. When a planet passes in front of a star, the gravitational field of the planet causes a momentary increase in the brightness of the star, which is called microlensing. This is based on the gravitational lens effect, which says that a massive object, the planet in this case, will bend the light of the bright background object, the star here. Obviously, the larger the planet, the more the light is affected. And that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.